Hello there. Today I'd like to share with you some thoughts on daylight savings time. This week we turned our clocks ahead 1 hour. We sprung ahead. And whenever we have the time change, I'm reminded of my mother's Uncle Clinton. Uncle Clinton lived in West Virginia, and every summer our family would travel there and visit relatives, my mom's relatives, and Uncle Clinton was one of my favorite characters. I loved to visit him. He had a farm right along the river, the Ohio River, on the West Virginia side. And he was a farmer, and we'd go to visit him, and I would always see that his clock on the wall was 1 hour slow. And he refused to go along with daylight savings time. He was a farmer, and farmers like to get up real early in the morning and get their work done. He had to get up early and milk the cows and feed the animals and things. And he preferred to have daylight in the morning, not in the evening. And so he just refused. And when I'd ask him about why his clock was 1 hour slow, he would always say the same thing every year. I'd ask him, and he'd say, "Man, God makes the sun come up in the morning, and God makes the sun set in the evening, and man can't change it." And he was right. Man can't change it. God is sovereign over all things, and God is sovereign over time. But time is a very interesting thing. You know, we live according to time. Time is really an integral part of our lives. We think about time almost all the time. We plan ahead. We make appointments. We mark our calendars. We check our watch. We wind our clocks, or we change the batteries. We set alarms, and sometimes we hit the snooze button. And we time our progress. We set goals, short-term and long-term goals. We hurry, we run, we jog, we race, and we procrastinate. We like to drive fast. We like to drive in the fast lane. We try to be early, but sometimes we're late. We mark time. We make time. We take our time. We spend time. We save time. And sadly, we waste time. Even worse, we kill time. And we work overtime. We need quality time and family time. If you're working, you probably get paid by the hour or the day or the week, according to time. Maybe you punch a time clock. Some people do time, and some people do hard time. Some say time is money. Some say time is love. But time is precious. It's a gift from God. And time, well, it slips away. Time flies. And time marches on, and time runs out. But when did time start? Well, in Genesis chapter 1, it says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." And we know that God created the world in 6 days, and he rested on the seventh day. And that's a pattern that we still live by. Genesis 7 says that it rained 40 days and 40 nights when Noah was 600 years old, and the flood was upon the earth. Genesis 8, God said to Noah, "While the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest time and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease." In Genesis 18, the Lord told Abraham that at the appointed time, he would return according to the time of life, and Sarah would have a son. Now think about that. Isn't that interesting that God called that time, the period of gestation when the baby is in the mom's womb, he called that the time of life. And the Bible has many references to things that happen on the third day. including Jesus' resurrection on the third day. And the Bible also has many references to things that happened in 40 days or 40 years. But we don't have time to go to all the references in the Bible that contain time. But you might ask, how much time do we have? How much time do you have? How much time do I have? In the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 14, it says that our life is like a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. And isn't that the way it is? My wife and I, we drink instant coffee, and we spend a lot of time boiling water in the tea kettle. And I watch that, the steam just comes up and vanishes, and it seems like life is that way. It's there and it's gone. It goes so fast. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 9 and verse 27, the Bible says, "It is appointed once unto men to die, and after this the judgment." And that's an appointment that you're not going to miss. And here's something interesting. The Bible tells us that Adam, the first man, lived 930 years. Can you imagine that? Methuselah holds the record for the longest living person. He died at 969 years old, almost 1,000 years. Psalm 90 and verse 10 tells us that the days of our years are 70 Score is 20 years. 70. That equals 70 years. And if by strength they be 80, yet is their strength labor and sorrow, and it is soon cut off, and we fly away. It just seems like life goes by so quickly. Well, I'll be 74 pretty soon, so I'm in overtime. But I don't know how much time I have. Paul, writing to the saints at Ephesus, told them to redeem the time because the days are evil. And I'm not really sure what he meant, but I think he might have meant that make up for lost time or wasted time, and in the time that you have left, use that time wisely. And Psalm 90 and verse 12 says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom." And that's something we should do. Number our days and try to use the days that we have remaining wisely. Well, I'm almost out of time for this devotion. I want to close with a reading from the book of Colossians 3, chapter 3 and verse 23. This is Paul writing to the saints at Colossae, and he said, "Whatsoever you do, do it heartily." Put your heart into it. Do it heartily, as unto the Lord. And I think that's what we should do. With our time remaining, whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as unto the Lord. And if you do, it'll be time well spent. See you next time.